Did you know that a firearm, left undisturbed for a century, can still fire flawlessly? Sounds impossible, right? Well, prepare yourself to learn about the gun that quite literally slept for 100 years and performed perfectly as though it were brand new. This is the story of a time capsule in the form of a weapon, a remarkable relic that blurs the lines between engineering, history, and pure serendipity. So, the year was 1871, and the firearm in question was a Colt single-action army revolver, the iconic Peacemaker. This model was one of the most recognizable guns of the American West, famed for its power and reliability in a time when technology wasn't nearly as developed as it is today. Across saloons and dusty trails, this revolver gained a legendary reputation. But our story focuses on a unique Peacemaker, one that would embark on an unconventional journey through time. Now imagine this: a lawman who proudly owned the revolver during the late 19th century decided to pass it down to his family. However, rather than see the revolver used, the family member who received it had a peculiar idea. They sealed the gun, almost perfectly preserved, in a small cache, a makeshift time capsule. No lubrication, no maintenance, just locked away in a storage chest in an old attic. And there it stayed, forgotten and undisturbed, for 100 years. Fast forward to the 1970s. The descendants were clearing out this attic, curious to see what treasures might remain hidden. Lo and behold, they stumble upon the weathered chest. Among faded letters and yellowed photographs, there lay the Colt revolver, its once glinting steel dulled by decades of inactivity. Most people would think, just a quaint artifact for the shelf. But not this family. They wondered, does it still work? And so began the restoration. Removing it from the chest, the revolver appeared to be in surprisingly solid condition, thanks to how well the box had sealed out moisture and corrosion over the years. A local firearms expert was brought in to carefully clean and inspect the revolver. A good oiling of its internal mechanisms and a small bit of elbow grease later, it looked nearly good as new. The expert decided to put it to the ultimate test, firing a round. Now, keep in mind, this firearm hadn't seen the light of day, hadn't felt a human hand, and certainly hadn't been fired in 100 years. With historical ammunition, carefully handled because of its age, the gun was loaded, the trigger was pulled, and bang! A shot rang out, true and straight as though it had been fired yesterday. Not only did the revolver work, it worked flawlessly without even a misfire. Decades-old engineering stood the test of time. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just cleaned and stored after this experiment. The revolver was shown off at multiple firearm exhibits as an example of unparalleled craftsmanship and design longevity. It sparked considerably more interest in historical Colt firearms, even influencing collectors and museums to dig into long-neglected archives to rediscover hidden treasures. This story raises the fascinating question: just what is it about firearms that allows them to endure so long when other mechanical devices seem to rust and crumble into dust? The answer lies partially in their over-engineering. Firearms often incorporate precision craftsmanship paired with robust materials. They may have been meant for quick, decisive action under brutal conditions, and thus their designs anticipate wear and rugged use. Combine that with controlled storage, and you have a recipe for longevity unmatched by much else. To this day, the Colt Peacemaker in our story lives on, a sleeping giant awakened after a 100-year nap. It's a humbling tale of the enduring potential of innovation and intent. No wonder the Peacemaker remains a symbol of resilience, strength, and timeless quality, much like the American spirit itself. So, next time you come across an old firearm in your grandparents' attic, don't be so quick to dismiss it as just junk. You might be holding an iconic piece of history that could very well still work, just like our legendary century-sleeping Peacemaker.